This is the PressBox High School Football Show with Booker Corrigan and legendary former McDonough coach Dom Damico. The guys look over everything going on in the world of high school football, both at the private school and public school level. Now, here's Booker Corrigan.
Live from the Live Casino Hotel Studio. Booker Corrigan, Dom Damico. We got a great show planned out for you on the PressBox High School Football Show. We're going to talk some recruiting info. And when we say recruiting, we mean going from your middle school-ish and rec programs into high school and how that's you're going to matriculate there. We're also then going to talk a little bit and a lot this fall about kids and the process of getting from the high school to the Golden Goose. And that is something that, a lot of people want to be on that college football stage, and we're going to kind of map out and track how you get there. We're also going to cover a lot of last week's games, some impact games in the region. We're going to talk about a conference that is as good a conference as you will find in high school football and happens to be right here in the state of Maryland. Dom, how hard would it be to coach in that conference with 4 teams that are all nationally ranked top 20?
Wow, it's almost like playing in like Maryland in the Big Ten. You got 4 powerhouse programs in your schedule every year, so it's tough. It's really tough.
Gonzaga, right? Phenomenal. Who else do you like?
Gonzaga is the 10th ranked team in the country right now.
Good Counsel's phenomenal.
Good Counsel's phenomenal. A little bit down this year, but still elite level football program. DeMatha. Wicked good.
I laugh when you say Good Counsel, down a little bit from top 5 to maybe top teens.
Yeah, maybe 20.
Really
20s in the country.
Nationally.
Crazy. St. John's,
yeah,
it's incredible. I don't know how some of the smaller schools survived. A lot of the teams want to not play in that conference. Obviously, some of the smaller schools that were used to be in the WCAC were kind of bailing out of there. And there's always talk when I was at McDonough about an MIAA WCAC playoff deal. And believe me, the MIAA wants no parts of that.
Not right now.
No, not right now, and I don't think never.
Maybe never. Yeah, that's a tough one. I know you played in MIA school. You went back to your old stomping grounds, played McDonough.
Yeah.
You guys were in there for a while, and they wore you down?
They did. Our kids, Franklin kids, played well for about 2.5 quarters, and then I think the size and speed and strength of McDonough's top players wore us down. McDonough's got a strong program this year. Curtis Jacobs, probably one of the best football players in the state, gone to Penn State University, started off as an offensive player, now playing both ways, but going to play defense at Penn State. Well, he's a special athlete.
And you said he plays both ways now. How hard is it in high school to play both ways?
It depends on your position. I think it's a little bit easier at the skill position. On the O-line and D-line is where it gets difficult. Big-bodied, 280, 290, 300-pound kids trying to play 120 snaps is really difficult. Most big-bodied kids that play both ways, they're going to take some plays off on one side of the ball, and you're watching tape, you can generally see that. There's very few kids that I've coached in 30 years that can do that full speed the entire game. One kid was P.J. Mustafer, but PJ's starting right now at Penn State on the D-line, and he was a beast, 6'5", 300 pounds, and his condition was he was so well conditioned that he didn't get tired, and he was one of the few kids that I coached that could play both ways for a whole game on the line.
Okay, we talked a little bit about the fact that we're going to cover the St. Francis Mater Dei game. St. Francis goes across the country to take on Mater Dei. It's number 1 against number 2 in the nation. They got together and locked horns. What was your takeaway?
Wow. Well, I watched St. Francis play and thought they were, one of the best teams I've ever seen. Obviously, I didn't watch enough Mater Dei. That California football must be incredible. I can't imagine a team scoring more than 30 points against St. Francis. So obviously, they got great kids, great coaches, a great scheme, and the kids are just, buying into the program at Mater Dei. And obviously they've been doing that for a while. They were the number 1 team last year in the country. There will be 1 or 2 this year. So they have a special program out there. And Biff Poggi and St. Francis, they're not going to shy away from anybody. They're going to jump on a plane and go 2,500 miles and take on the best.
So here's the bet. How many points did St. Francis give up last week?
I believe 33 or 35. Yep.
So they give up over 30 more points all combined between now and October 19th. You run the Belcar Health 5K in the Baltimore Running Festival.
I'll take that bet.
Nice. Okay. So Dom Damico will be strolling the streets in the Bell Car Health 5K.
I'll jog the first 100 yards, and then I'll kind of kick it into a slow walk.
It'll be good for you. Last year we had Glenn Clark run the Baltimore 10-miler. So you got 3.1 miles. You're okay. You can make it.
I think I can handle it.
And those people will love you. It's the happiest day of running in all of Baltimore. So make sure you go to BaltimoreRunFest.com to sign up for that. And we want to thank Glenn Burney Transmissions as well as Wise Markets, a couple of our sponsors, and U.S. Army. And speaking of Army, we're not going to dabble in too much college football, but Army almost took down Michigan. It's kind of great to see the excitement, that the leveling of the landscape. Citadel takes down Georgia Tech. Let's get back into the high school. What other games jumped off the page at you from last week, or what other programs are real hot button programs for you right now?
Well, I think you got to talk about Loyola because, they kind of jumped out of the A conference, went independent, and I really think next year they'll be back in the MIAA conference. Coach Z is doing a great job of building the program up. Jordan Moore, their quarterback's a special athlete, two-way player, quarterback, DB, and they're steamrolling right now. Their program is really targeted to be, again, they're top 15 right now in the area, coming from a program last couple years that they were struggling. So Coach Z is doing a great job.
You got to love it when a coach, game knows game, coaches know good coaches. So that's high praise for the Loyola Dons. Roll Dons, roll. Yeah. Cole Corrigan, a great Loyola Don.
And Coach Z was, he played it at LSU, and so he understands the process of good football if you're playing at LSU. So he knows that, and it's just a matter of now getting those kids to believe the process.
I'm sorry to laugh, but did he play for Les Miles?
I think he did.
We could get as weird as we want. We won't come near Les Miles territory. All fall. So that's a good nice little plug for the Dons. Calvert Hall, you told me something about. You like the Cardinals?
Well, the MIAA is a different breed of football. So we could sit here every week and talk about MIAA football because it's going to be the elite level football in the area. But Donald Davis does a great job. Donald Davis will always have a well-prepared team. They have good process, good coaching, enough kids at the point of attack to be strong, and always enough skill guys. So Donald and his whole staff, they really do a good job every week.
Have you ever looked at a coach in high school and said he places too much emphasis on winning?
Sure. I think there's some high school coaches.
Is that a shame? Am I wrong to think that that's a shame?
Well, it's usually with the younger coaches where their ego's still in it, Mm-hmm. It's either their ego's in it or too much, or they're at a school that expects them to win and they're compensating them for winning. And so I think you got to know what kind of a program you're coaching for, or is the AD and the headmaster talking about life values and what you can enhance the kids' lives off the field, or are they saying, listen, I'm going to hire you, we need to win football games? So I think it depends on the guidance you get from the top.
Okay, and you talked about that. Now let's go from the bottom, the players. Are players today placing too much emphasis on winning over, my pet peeve is place the emphasis on the fundamentals, but are kids placing too much emphasis on winning?
They do. I think the kids sometimes put it in reverse order. They put the winning first and not the process first. But a bigger issue, I think kids are really interested in playing for top programs and winning championships and being on a winning team instead of being at the school that's the best fit for you. And sometimes those two things don't line up. And
when we come back from the break, we are going to talk about recruiting and tracking those guys and how you get yourself from middle school and rec programs, because they do both. You play good middle school football. I happen to know some great former middle school football coaches in my time. Dante Evans being one. We always like to throw Dante a little love. But we do want to talk about that. Let's hit John Carroll and Elkton, because I teased them a little bit earlier. How great is John Carroll right now? Do you like him?
Well, we scrimmaged John Carroll, and I thought they had 3 or 4 really good skill guys, and we had trouble tackling their skill guys. Their coaches do a really good job, and you had a big win over Boys Latin over the weekend, 28-7. Roman Hemby had 17 rushes for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns, and we struggled trying to tackle him. So I think John Carroll's going to be a very good team.
I like to hear that. And Elkton, Up there in the hinterlands.
Yeah, no doubt. You don't hear too much about Elkton, but right now there's a lot of vibe up there. The whole community is supporting Elkton. It seems to me like they have probably one of the best teams that they've had maybe in the last 20 years. So I think as we go through the year, they're undefeated right now. I think there's some buzz up in Elkton about how good their football teams started off, and I think they're going to try to finish strong.
St. Francis dropping one. Didn't see that coming, but that's a huge compliment to Mater Dei. Right, and who were some of the other players, either from anywhere in the area, who you think have earned the right to get a quick mention before we go to break?
Yeah, well, River Hill scored over 60 points this weekend.
Hung half 100 on them.
Hung half 100. And they have a Maryland recruit, Bo Brody, who's one of the best players in Howard County and probably one of the best players in the state of Maryland. So he's an excellent football player, probably one of the best players, definitely the best player in Howard County, one of the best players in the state of Maryland.
You like him? You like the way he plays? Best player in Howard County, best player in the state of Maryland. I think you're leaning towards liking him.
I do, and I think Maryland's going to get a really good player in Bo.
You got to love that. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, step away. We want to thank U.S. Army, Glen Burnie Transmission, Wise Markets, and, of course, we are coming to you from the live Casino Hotel Studio, Booker Corrigan and Dom Damico on the PressBox High School Football Show.
Need groceries today but don't have time to shop? Order online with same-day pickup or delivery at Wise Markets. Wise to go online. Now that's convenient.
This is Stan the Fan for Glen Burnie Transmissions, located right in the heart of Glen Burnie for almost 60 years. If you suspect you're having a transmission problem, GBT can save you hundreds of dollars over taking it to the dealers for a repair. Make an appointment for a free diagnostic and estimate. Call GBT at 855-728-1841. Their mission is simple: to provide excellent service at a reasonable price. Go to their website at gbt-online.com to check out all of the 5-star reviews. Let my friend Mark Schwartzman and his GBT team take the troubles out of transmission troubles. Call them today at 855-728-1841.
Respect. It's more than a word. In the U.S. Army, it is one of our core values, earned through selfless service to our nation and making a difference both at home and abroad. On the Army team, respect is earned daily. And now, in addition to earning respect, you may earn up to $40,000 in bonuses if you qualify. To learn more, visit goarmy.com/bonus or call 1-800-USA-ARMY, paid for by the U.S. Army.
We are back live. I got to tell you what, it's a great occasion to get insights from Dom Damico, who's been involved in high school football for over 30 years, which also makes you old.
Yeah, it's true.
That's it. Let that soak in for a little bit while I cue up this little tease.
Well, I woke up on September 15th, one day closer to 60 than 50.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yeah, you just had a big birthday.
I did.
Happy
55.
birthday, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
One day closer to 60 than 50.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
and you look
scary.
this good.
Scary.
You've accomplished this much. Congratulations. Have a great day.
Thanks.
We're coming to you from the live Casino Hotel Studio. Booker Corrigan, Dom Damico on the PressBox High School Football Show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for making us part of your sports viewing day. Let's talk recruiting. One of the topics that I will hit you up with outside in our prep and also hit you on the air is our kids placing too much emphasis on winning, and you kept coming back to it's about the program. It's about the right place for the right kid. Let's take a hypothetical 7th grader and call him Timmy Smith. And as Timmy Smith is going to play somewhere high school football, how does a parent begin their examination of programs? Obviously, you want to stay in a 15-mile radius of your house. So, wherever he lives, and we're going to use a lot of different regions for that. But how do you help Timmy Smith end up at the perfect place?
Well, it's really complicated, to be honest. It's not as easy as it sounds. It's almost as complicated as college recruiting. It could actually be more complicated, to be honest, if you look at it. At McDonough, every year, I would get over 50 requests from parents, alums, rec ball coaches, grassroots coaches to watch Joe Smith play. And, McDonough School probably takes 2 or 3 football players a year. So you have 47, 57 players that ain't going to make it at McDonough. Yep. So, it's a difficult process to get to those elite private schools. Most of the kids, and here's kind of when I kind of shook my head and just said, well, I don't even know if I want to kind of recruit to that level as from a high school coach. I got a letter from a guy, and I started reading it, and he told me his son was 4'2", 297 pounds, and he rushed for 1,200 yards last year. And I'm looking, and then I see he's in third grade. So, I mean, I took the letter, I put it in my file, and I refused to coach or recruit third graders.
Yeah.
Seventh and eighth graders, I think, obviously, if you're in the recruiting business, you're going to have to recruit seventh and eighth graders. But third graders, fourth graders, it's crazy. But I think the parents right now, if you're it's crazy. Are parents that are looking for their kids to go and play football. First off, you have to make a conscious decision as a parent to let your kids play football right now. And the numbers are declining. So that's the first hurdle. Are the parents going to let their kid, boy,
play
son,
a high-impact sport?
Yeah, play football. And once you clear that hurdle, and that's a big hurdle, I have grandsons, and, I don't know.
It's a good way to. It's a great way to look at it. Now you're in the game. You got skin in the game.
I got skin in the game, and I played my mom. I know my mom and dad, drove me to Hetzel's Field when I was, 8 years old, and they put a helmet on me and shoulder pads, and then the guys were running into me.
I know your mom and dad.
Yeah,
they're fabulous.
I really didn't make that decision. They made it for me. My dad played football, so then you're playing. Get over there and get out there and
you buckle your chin strap. Up
run
there,
into somebody and be quiet. So that's what we did. But today it's different. So once they clear the hurdle of, hey, I'm going to let my son play, then you got to look and evaluate how good of a player they are. And then I think you start looking at what team am I going to play for? Am I going to try to play for teams that the elite private schools recruit from? Am I going to try to get in on those teams? There's also 7th and 8th grade all-star teams now. They play in their grassroots programs, they play in their rec program, and then they play in all-star games. And the all-star games are travel teams. They travel to Richmond, they travel to Florida, they play in Pop Warner National Championship games. So these 7th and 8th graders are playing a lot of football. And with the not only trying to win championships and win games, but also to get noticed and get recruited. And I think that's kind of what's going on in picking what rec programs they play for.
How's that make you feel?
I don't like that, to be honest, but I think you got to do it. Obviously, if you don't, you're going to fall behind. I mean, if every other school in the country or in the state of Maryland that wants to have the elite level state program is doing it, I think it forces your hand to do it.
And it's painful to hear you say that if you don't do it, you're going to fall behind, because ultimately, great coaches find a way to get their players to become the best possible version of themselves. That's it. And if it's on the football field, great. If it's in the hallways, great. At lunch table, great. If it's in the chemistry lab, great. Just become the best Dom Damico you can be. Be the best Timmy Smith that you can be. Let's jump, because we're going to come back to recruiting. And recruiting something that we're going to try and get into every week. We're going to track this process. We're going to help educate families, because right now their kids are playing 7th grade football. They're playing the rec. They're playing the all-star stuff, the showcases. And we're going to help you find a way to matriculate to the best high school you can end up at. And that's another piece that we'll get into next week. Let's look ahead to games this weekend that jump off, because there's a smattering of them, but one of them is unbelievable, and it's in the state of Maryland.
Yeah, there's actually two. It's crazy. We're going to talk about 4 games. The first one, St. John's versus IMG. So IMG, one of the top 2 programs in the country, they're going to get on a plane from Florida. They're going to fly up here. They're going to play St. John's at their school Saturday at 2 o'clock. So if you want to watch big boy football without flying to California, you can see it, with a 45-minute ride to St. John's High School.
And if you live on the south side of Baltimore, it's a shorter drive.
Shorter drive.
How about me? I used to teach geography.
No doubt.
What are the So you get down to St. John's, you can see IMG, and IMG, they're finding a way. Our man Tommy Marachek.
Tom Marachek.
They're doing lacrosse down at IMG. Dude, love you, Tommy. Love him. Let's talk. What's the next game?
Well, DeMatha against St. Iggy. St. Ignatius is a
St. Iggy.
Ohio powerhouse. St. Iggy's is again a national ranked program. Bill McGregor is going to try to beat them. DeMatha is off kind of a little bit of shaky start in their first game. They won their next 2 games, but you'll get to see one of the best teams in Ohio at the Prince George's Learning Center Saturday at 2 o'clock. So I think those 2 games are national level games if you want to go watch national big boy football.
Yeah, I tell you what, you say the Prince George's Learning Center, I feel like you're talking about a robotics competition. That BL robotics team, by the way, was legit last year. Shout out to the BL robotics team. So you can see St. Iggy.
Yeah, I think St. Iggy probably has a pretty good robotics team. I would bet.
They're playing at the Learning Center.
They're playing at the Learning Center. And again, if we stick in the WCAC again, now you got Gonzaga. I was kind of looking over Gonzaga, and then they're playing Avalon, which is a private school, and then obviously they recruit football players. One of their players, Diggs, is playing at Alabama and starting at Alabama.
Saw him
playing defense there, and Stephon Diggs' cousin, I believe. So he plays at Alabama now, but he did play at Avalon. And Gonzaga is right now ranked 10th in the country. So, everyone talks about St. John's and St. Francis and, DeMatha, and now all of a sudden Gonzaga ranked 10th in the country. There's only 9 other teams ranked higher than them. That's pretty high level of football. So Gonzaga is going to play Avalon Saturday at Gonzaga. It'll be a real high level game too on a national scale.
But the big game is the 2 against 4. That's a clash.
Yeah. Well, again, it depends on what kind of football you want to watch. I mean, if you want to watch big time football, big boy football, where almost every kid on the team is going to be recruited and it's a high level of coaching and almost set up like a college program, that's what you want to go see. The local game of interest that I'm very interested in would be Good Counsel versus Spalding.
Yeah,
great
That's
game.
Friday night, right?
That's Friday night at Spalding. They get a great crowd down there. Kyle Schmidt does a great job coaching there. Their athletic department puts on a really nice show in Anne Arundel County. They'll get 3,500 people. They'll pack the stands. They have booster clubs. The atmosphere is phenomenal down there at Spalding, and they'll be bringing in a good team and Good Counsel. So that'll be an exciting game. Kyle Schmidt is, again, I talked about this last week, but he's one of the best offensive coaches in the state of Maryland. You look at their scores week in and week out. He's often scoring over 50 points against quality teams.
Spalding's got a great facility. I recommend that Friday night game getting down to Spalding. I was fortunate enough to broadcast the Jacksonville University of Vermont lacrosse game. Division I lacrosse came to Spalding to play. I mean, you look at University of Vermont and Jacksonville, let's meet in the middle. Spalding put up the facilities, and they got a great place and ample parking. It's a fun place to go see a football game on a Friday night. I recommend you guys trying to do that. And Luke Jackson will be there. So, are you signing autographs on Friday, or are you going to play it low? Probably low-key? Yeah, he's a low-key guy. And the Ravens won yesterday.
Ravens won. Maryland took it on the chin, but the Ravens looked really strong. I think Lamar was again phenomenal. He validated his first week performance and put a stamp on the fact that he's going to be one of the best players in the league, and really a quick evolution from last year to this year. But I can envision him. If I was his agent, I'd be asking for more money than Dak Prescott. There's no doubt.
Dom, you bring up if you say the word agent one more time on this show, you're fired. It'd be Donald Trump with the internship. Oh goodness, I think he's still trying to run the internship. By the way, you're fired.
He's doing something. He might be doing something else.
Yeah, he's a good guy. He's our president. I stand behind him. I stand behind every president. I'm not going to stand in front of him. That's our show for this week. I really do appreciate you making us part of your sports viewing day. Dom, good luck to the Franklin Indians this week.
Yeah,
right?
Dundalk Owls, baby. Friday versus Dundalk at Franklin.
You say Dundalk Owls. I think Westminster Owls. Shout out to Westminster. They won the state championship in lacrosse. So I know their football team's going to get their feet under them as soon as they can. But the lacrosse team's doing a great job. Coach DeFeo up there. Love his program and respect him. Give the Dundalk Owls hell. That's how we say it in Philly.
We'll do it.
Give them hell. I'm Booker Corrigan reminding you, you only get one shot at today.